Oh, each of these are a measure. I'm dumb. Whatever. What up, buttons? I'm Adam Stark.
And I'm Alan Roper, and we ask you, what the loop-de-loop do those buttons do?
Whoa, my head's getting all dizzy from those loop-de-loops. Today we're talking about, this is actually a fan request, 30-second little hip-hop loops. And we're kind of breaking that down into not just only hip-hop, because you can actually use these anywhere. So later in the show, for the meat of this show, we will be getting into how to create a 30-second loop, or I guess it's 16 bars, a 16-bar loop. But
depending on tempo.
Yeah, depending on tempo. But before we jump into anything, we just wanted to make sure that you guys like and subscribe, because as always, we're brought to you by the like button. It keeps us going. It keeps it's spreading out to more people to bring more of this in. So don't forget to do those things, and also hit the bell if you're on YouTube, and you'll get notifications when we do that. If you're on Anchor.fm or any podcasts out there, check out the show notes, and you can follow us on those. Spotify, we're all out there now, so it'll be fun. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon as well. We've got some great stuff if you want to support the show. Jump on Patreon. Again, everything that happened, or everything that we talked about today, is down in the show notes in the description. So check them out. We'll have lots of goodies down there. Maybe some secrets. I don't know. Who knows? There'll be some weird stuff down there sometimes. Today, we are going to jump straight into our pick of the day. Alan, you have something for us.
I do. I have this kid, Jason Leach, who's like classically trained pianist, and he's into all sorts of music, but super talented. Like, he's able to play multiple keyboards at once and trigger sounds and like recreate or remix all these tracks that are popular in electronic music. And he's super talented. So let's bring that clip up.
That sounds dope.
Go track, and he I think the drum loops or drum samples are in there, and he triggers most everything else, and then he adds his own little bridge to it. Super good.
Nice. All right, let's jump on into this. Yeah. Love that setup. Really want to see those project files, like how he set some of that tagging or stuff up. Sick.
Nice.
That's an awesome breakdown.
Watch his face.
True rock star right there. That is dope.
He just put out a bunch of new videos too, a bunch.
Nice.
And it's like on that particular one, I think it's the vocal samples and the drums that he may be triggering, but he's not he's not playing.
Yeah.
He's just keeping in time with it. And it's just, I saw that and I was like, okay, I'm nothing. That's how I felt.
Well, as always, if you guys want to check out more Jason Leach, we will have links in the description. So go check him out. Show some love to him because that was some amazing stuff right there.
He's incredible. And he's like just coming out. Like he doesn't have a whole bunch of followers like, a lot of people do. And I don't know how I came across. I think actually Ryan, who was on the last episode, I think he sent me a link and I watched it and I was like, what is this? Well, and now he's got so many songs.
Well, we should definitely, I would love to reach out to him, see if we can talk to him about his process one of these days. We'll have to reach out to him, see if he's interested. That'd be great.
We should through Instagram or something.
Definitely throw us some likes if you guys would love to see him on the show for that. So let's go ahead and jump into today's thing. So I think, Alan, you're going to start us off here and kind of talk us through some of the nuances of getting something started for. And again, our topic today is just creating a 30-second loop, something that you can use for hip hop or you can use as like a starter for anything. There's what's really good about these is they can be used for pretty much anything. You can either expand on them. They're good for writing lyrics too, because you can just loop them over and over and over and over again, so that you can just flow with your music or flow with ideas. Jam to one of the songs that I released a while ago called Dark Gypsy. That's pretty much all I did is I set up just I think it was like 8 to 16 bar loop, and then I brought my friend in because it was just drums and some bass sounds and a little bit of barely much melody in there. I would add on a little bit, but then when we found something, my friend Annika had her viola, and so I just laid out like 10 minutes of this 30-second loop, and then she would just jam to it on her viola. And then after we recorded everything that we wanted to record, we took that, chopped it up, and then added everything in to just fill out the entire song. So that's just an example of what these are really good for. So I will hand this over to you, Alan, and let's get started.
All right. So the way I'm going to do this is, most people who are watching this, we assume, are going to be using Ableton. And you must have some like generic understanding of Ableton, but I can run you through some basic ways of how I like create. And I don't usually create drums first, but I'm going to do it because we're doing hip hop. I'm just going to make a quick loop on the fly with the push here. And then I'll throw in some sub bass and bass and maybe throw a synth on top or some keys or something. And I haven't even thought about it. So let's just knock it out. All right, guys. So as you see here, I have 4 MIDI tracks that are empty in the set. Now, what I'm going to do is load a drum rack that has some preloaded drums. I'm just going to drag it over to the first MIDI. Okay, so starting here with Roper drums, what I'll do is I'll typically, if I'm going to make a hip hop, just to start with a template, I'll go to like 94, like classic 90s hip hops around that BPM. and then I got my metronome on, right? And then my drums that are preloaded. Now, if you want to know more about loading up drum sets or instrument racks, drum racks or instrument racks, that's another conversation. But so I'm just gonna have those as a template for myself, and then I'm gonna use the push here to just trigger everything and play it live. So what I'll do is arm the track down here at the bottom of the first track. Quantizing. All right, so that's a basic loop. I made plenty of errors and there, and I had to go back and move some stuff. Quantization was on point, but I had played stuff so off that it didn't quantize to the correct parameter, which you can change in the global quantization settings, but we're not getting into that either. All right, so let's move on. That's just your basic run-of-the-mill loop. All right, so we have a sub bass here. So that's where we're at. All right, so there's your just basic thing. I'll tweak this a little bit. So we have our drums and bass, or at least sub bass. We can add another bass later, but for now, that's that's fine. And then we're going to go to Serum, which has a bunch of sounds we can use. So we're just going to pick a pad for the first Serum synth. Oh, that'll work for now. I'm not even going to adjust any of this stuff for now. I'm just going to close this. D-pad, directional pad. I'm just going to play this and play what I played before, just so it's all right, just to keep it simple for now. Let's go. I only did 2 notes. Let's do another one. And ideally what you would do is you would have another sound here next to this pad, next to this pluck sound, this one we just made, and you'd pan one left and pan one right equally and create balance and space in the track. Your pad could stay in the center or lower, and your bass could stay in the center as well as your drums, although when you get snares and claps and all the different percussion instruments, you can spread them out how you want. Obviously your bass and kick drum need to be in the center. And this is just a basic way to make a loop. Now that's not quite 30 seconds. If we look at our arrangement view here, kill this and kill this. And forward. All right, so you basically got a 10-second loop, and you can double or triple this or whatever. So there's a 30-second loop. Now what you would do ideally, probably just, drop this out or something to start with. And that's very, very generic. The idea is that you just put together sounds simply like that, and then you can build on them. Like the drums is a good place to start, especially if you're not used to building loops or building sections or building motifs, however you want to look at it. Drums is a good place to start. Bass is another good place to start, and then add on that. Just follow the same notes until you can kind of get a feel for what you're doing and what you're going for, and then you can develop that into other sections, which I'm going to let Adam get into. He's a little bit more. He's got something a little bit more prepared. This was just a basic how you would put something together in Ableton. But just to get you going, the idea here is just to lay out ideas in the session view here, and then you can transfer them over to arrangement view by pressing tab and bringing them over. But for now, this right here, this area is for ideas and how to build on ideas, and then you can bring them over here how you want. So that's just a generalization of making a loop. Now I'm going to pass it off to Adam.
So yeah, just jumping over here to this is kind of a pre-laid out ones that I basically literally just started with that same concept, that same idea of just taking, I just started out with a little bit of drums, a little bit of just some little sounds here and there, and these are the three main sounds that are just the loop. Let me make sure that I'm still sharing audio here. So these are the main sounds of the loop. Is just some drums here, and then just went in and added this little thing here, this little sound. So yes, that was, I just started out with that as kind of the idea for it, and I mean this right here in and of itself is. That's your 30-second loop there, which is basically comprised of what Alan did there. Is it's just taking, I just used a drum sample from Splice, which is, it's only about one measure there. Is that one? Yeah, one measure. And then with the bass line, it's half a measure. So yeah, any of those can be used. You're gonna have different loop sections for it, but the kind of 30-second or whatever you want to call it, would be your 30-second loop if you're going by time. I'm at 120 BPM on this one. It doesn't really matter where you start them, but anywhere between 2 and 4 measures is you're going to get a good loop out of it, depending on how fast your stuff is going. Then you just jam with it, basically, on whatever you want. Throw any sounds that you want in there, and then build out from those loops, which I've already done with this one as kind of the example here, to where I just added some more stuff in there. So you can just loop your sections, which this one is basically just this section looped over and over and over and over again. And so you can start bringing extra other things in, other things out. This one's not being played, so just ignore that. Get out of there. And you can basically build out something like this just by adding and removing things on it. So a little bit of a build. And we've got added this in with a little bit of double there. So that's those there. And then, yeah, it goes straight back to the main loop. Which was kind of the meat of what I wanted all of it to be, and then just adding sounds on that I liked as it went. So if you didn't want to add like a chorus or a drop or anything like that, and you literally just wanted something, say, you can a big one that this would be that this could be used for also would be and not just hip hop, but for freestyling or any of those types of things where you kind of just throw them down. is you could do something with video games as well, because they'd have a lot of repetitive music that goes into it, to kind of jump into another side projects that I have. Is these would be great for those types of things. So you can have the loops that kind of sound together, have a little bit of build to them. So if I were to just drop this build out, and so we're not using this one anymore, and just keep this section here, as you just have kind of a little bit of a repetitive thing, but has a little bit of change to it. So it would just go through these, and it would just alternate back and forth between those two.
So is this an Eminem or Michael Jackson beat?
Yes.
Nice.
So you've got a section that kind of changes it up a little bit, makes it sound a little bit different, but not too different. And then when it loops back and goes around, and you can just have that go on forever and ever and ever between those two. So that's how you kind of utilize those loops. But really, for what Alan did, and this just kind of looking at this main section here, is if you want to create a good starting loop, or have a good, whatever you're going to use the loop for, is just pick your favorite kind of throw drum track in there, throw some bass over it, throw a little bit of melody or little extras in there that you want, and that's your little loop there, and that can go on forever and ever and ever.
A song that doesn't end.
This is a song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend.
Lamb chop, lamb chop.
Actually, there's the lyrics for this.
Lamb chop, lamb chop.
This is the song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend.
Sock puppets.
I can't remember the words now. So yeah, and another thing that we wanted to kind of highlight today as kind of one of our something that we use, and kind of a sponsor-ish type thing that we got going on here, is if you need help like laying some of this stuff out to where you've got your loop, you've got this. Now what? How do I change it? Like, how do I add any of these extra things in here, or where do I put them? How to make this kind of thing? Formatting, yeah. If you needed help kind of like formatting it and laying the structure out of the song itself, we recommend using jute blocks. It is actually really, really awesome. The guy who put this together, Dylan Tallchief, you can check out his channel on YouTube. He goes through a lot of this and explains kind of what he's did, why he started this project, but it's probably one of the most amazing projects that I've seen out there. You can create, basically what it does is you can pick a genre here, and he's been adding more genres as it goes, but house, hip-hop, pop, EDM, all different types already. But say we wanted something with this, all you have to do is hit generate, and it creates, it uses a bit of AI awesomeness to regenerate a new layout where it shows like kicks, claps, hi-hats. This one has sleigh bells, 808s, piano effects, automations, any of those types of things where you can add that stuff. And what's cool about it is you can actually export this as FL Studio, Ableton, Reaper, LMMS, and even MIDI. Now what this is going to do is just kind of lay out the blocks for you. So this right here, actually I'll just bring this one in. So if I download this project file, and I didn't want FL Studio, I wanted Ableton. So if I download the Ableton file and bring this up, so what this has done is it doesn't add any of the MIDI notes for you or anything like that. It just adds a nice layout of where these structures go and how they would change. So you see the numbers up here.
Skeleton.
Yeah, it's the skeleton of it. So you'd have your kicks, they run one pattern over and over and over again, and then you have a second pattern, and so it can show the change ups and everything like that. So with your 808, different patterns, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so if you kind of lay these out and follow the kind of patterned guideline for it, it can help with that inspiration of using that. So say we brought this if we brought this one back up and kind of wanted to lay that out differently, if I wanted to follow it here, I can do that. But
you can also change it the way you want to after you get going.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
and it's a free service, although there is a paid version with much more benefit.
Yes, there's a paid version. Allows you to the other cool thing about this is it allows you to convert files, such as if you want to go from Ableton to Fruity Loops or vice versa, Fruity Loops to Ableton. It allows you to convert those files over, like whole projects over, and it brings over all the automations, all of like your audio samples and everything, links everything up. I know there are probably a couple bugs here and there still that he talks about in his videos, but it's really cool.
Another cool thing is, say like you're collaborating, like say Adam and I are collaborating, and I have an older version of Ableton.
Yeah.
And he has Ableton 11, and I have 10, but let's just say I had like 7 or whatever, or 8 or whatever. It lets you downgrade.
Well, it goes down to 9.7.
Okay, so it lets you downgrade the files so that you'll be able to open it in an older version of Ableton.
Yep. So it's really useful. Highly recommend it. I believe for an account with it, for kind of the upgrades to it, is I think it's just $5. He tries to keep it about $5 for what it is. It's well worth it. It's great to support this project and Dylan's hard work on this, because it just keeps getting better. So yeah, I think that's all we've got to say about that. So 30-second loops, not too hard to do when just laying stuff out for a bass idea or lyrical inspirations. And you know what? And as always, please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you like these kind of walkthroughs. If you have any interest. Again, this was a fan pick for us that asked us a specific question about 30-second loops, so we decided to do that to kind of fill that question and hopefully provide some answers, and hopefully not leave too many heads still being scratched. But yes, thank you for enjoying us, and we'll be back next week with another episode, and we'll keep asking those questions, what those
buttons do.
Catch you guys later.
Got the bass.